The death penalty is beneficial because those who commit murder do not deserve an ounce of breath. They deserve to pay for the price because of the act of murder that they committed towards others. Currently, you are asking for those who oppose the death penalty, why should we give the satisfaction for those on death row who will be executed for the act of murder? Why should we give them the satisfaction of being put to death rather than spending years in prison to the day they die? I'll tell you this, and I'll give you some examples. Currently, Teddy Roosevelt, or Theodore Kaczynski, is an individual who is well known here in the United States as the Unabomber. Throughout the years, no one knew that this man had a plan to take lives of hundreds, if not hundreds, probably thousands of people just by setting off bombs. Luckily, his brother was able to turn him into the authorities. They found journals and they found papers and mounds of evidence to prove that this guy, the Unabomber, had massive plans to take someone's life. Like I mentioned, hundreds of people's lives. Currently, he is serving a 2-term life sentence in a Colorado prison. And I ask, why? Why should he deserve to spend time in prison? Think about that. Why should he? Because, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve an ounce of breath because he took people's lives. The next two people I want to talk about is Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols. Back in 1995, and I will be as polite as I can, but in my opinion, they are cowards. Because in 1995, they blew up the Oklahoma City Federal Building. Again, two groups of criminals, two individuals, woke up one morning and just decided to take people's lives. Luckily, and I will be as respectful as I can, Terry Nichols is spending time in prison. But his cohort, Timothy McVeigh, has already been sentenced to die, and he has already died by execution. Now, I'm a little puzzled by this because Terry Nichols was a co-conspirator. In other words, he was following Timothy McVeigh's lead by just setting off this bomb in Oklahoma City. And I don't think he should even be able to live. Now, I know some people might argue, oh, we shouldn't support the death penalty for psychological reasons. It causes depression, it causes grief, it causes sadness, it causes anger. On who? Yes, maybe on both parties. But the family of the person who committed the act, I had hoped and would hope they could see it coming from the victim's family. They don't get to wake up and see their loved ones. Years will go by where they're sad and contemplating, yeah, this person, for example, Timothy McVeigh, was sentenced to death, but why in the world is Terry Nichols still alive? Why does he get to sit in a federal prison and have an ounce of breath? Now, you might also argue for those who oppose the death penalty and people who are on death row, you might be asking, what if? What if that person was innocent? Why would we want to take that chance? If the DNA proves that that person is guilty, and law enforcement has proven through their reports and their thorough investigation, why should that person even be able to live? So I think the death penalty is valid and should stay where it is today. And I also believe that it should be reinstated. I want to share the story about Dylan Roof, the shooter at a South Carolina Baptist church. He just came in, boom, boom, boom. He shot a lot of African people. This was an African church. And he just woke up one day, just went into the church, shooting people. And here he is, still living today, in prison, but his case is currently being looked into whether or not he should receive the death penalty. And I hate to say this, but if you take someone's life, why should you be able to live? I know that's cruel about me to say that. I know it's not right to think that way. But come on. These people took someone's life. They woke up one day, set off bombs, and killed somebody. Next, Dylan Roof. He shoots people in the Baptist church. The last example I'm going to use is Dylan Colloid and Eric Harris. These two people were the shooters at Columbine High School back in 1999. And again, they were students who just decided, I have to say, they probably didn't use their head. They didn't have a brain. They just came into Columbine High School and just started shooting people, one after another. This person, and this person, and that person. And the one story that stuck with me is because I will admit, I am a religious person. And the story of Cassie Barnell, a Christian individual, was asked, do you believe in Jesus Christ? Now stop and think about that for a minute. You're scared and you're terrified. Do you say yes or do you say no? This person stood up to her faith and said yes. And the next thing you know, boom, boom, she died a Christian, a believer, because these people decided to take her life along with other believers. So I hope that I was able to convince you that the death penalty is valid and should stay in play because those who commit murder do not deserve an ounce of breath and do not deserve the right to live.